Hey everyone, it's Sean from Our Bronco Life, and today I'm going to be installing a new rear bumper from Hooke Road. Now we have a lot of great parts from Hooke Road and we're excited to be adding this new one to our Bronco. Now our Bronco we chose came with a plastic bumper, so we're really excited to be upgrading to a steel bumper from Hooke Road. So come on, let's install our new rear bumper. Now the first thing we're going to do is remove our spare tire so it's out of the way when we're removing our bumper. All right, we're under the passenger side of the bumper and we already removed the power cord. Now we're gonna remove these 3 bolts with a 15mm socket. All right, now that we have the 3 bolts removed on each side, we have one more bolt which is above the frame there that we're gonna need to use a wrench to loosen and remove. Once those bolts are removed, you can now remove the bumper. Okay, we got the bumper removed. Now we're going to be removing these bolts that hold on the tow hooks, because these are going to be our main mounting point for the new bumper from Hooke Road. So right now we're using a 19mm wrench just to break these a little bit loose, and then we're going to use a power tool to finish the job here. Here are those bolts on the other side that we're going to be removing. This is because it is an Outer Banks, it only has 1 tow hook from the plastic bumper, and so we're going to remove those bolts, and that'll be our main mounting point for our new bumper. All right, we have to finish removing this bracket that was holding up the bumper. After we got those 2 large bolts out, we realized we have to remove this bracket for the Hooke Road bumper to be mounted evenly on. So this is a 13mm socket that we're going to remove. And the bracket will come right off. Next thing we're going to do is remove all of our rear parking sensors from our stock bumper. And as we do that, we're going to label each sensor to which one it corresponds to, which side of the vehicle, passenger or driver. And so we're going to take our push pin tool and we're going to remove this whole cord as well as the light plug right there as well, and then transfer it to the new bumper. All right, now that we have all the clips undone, we're going to pull out the sensors. And the way you do that is kind of spread the sides there. You'll spread the side of the sensor, and then it should just, and then pop out. I'm going to clean these up a little bit. And then I'm going to label this one passenger side, and with an arrow up. So P with an arrow up, just so I can make sure everything is in the same position when installing it. And this is passenger side as well up. We will know that's in the middle because it's not the end of the strain. So both passenger sides. Label that one driver up, and then the last one driver side up. Okay, now let's get the light bracket out for the final thing. We're not going to take the light, we're just going to take the power because this new bumper has its built-in light with it already. Okay, our sensor cords and license plate light are all cleaned up and set in front of our new bumper. And so now we are going to install our sensors as we marked them before, driver side. And so this bumper came with plugs that you just push out, and then you're going to stick the sensor in there, and then it has a mounting bracket, so you're not going to be using the stock clips that it came with, so it's going to have its own mounting bracket. This bumper already came with a built-in light with a positive and negative cord. Now our stock sensor cord I snipped off and removed the plug, and then I stripped the wires. You have the yellow one for the positive, the black for the negative, and we tested it out already. It does work. And then you have the other sensor points, and this bumper came with 2 bright LED lights that I'm going to run up to one of my auxiliary switches. So that one is going to be a separate little install that we have, but we're going to run the wires that we already have set up inside the Bronco so we can have a nice bright LED light. So we found out that our sensors were not long enough for these middle two, so what we did is we had to just cut it open and then extend this cord, and now we're just going to tape it back shut so it has nice protection with some electrical tape. The pack list for the rear parking sensors came with these stick-on sensors that are going to go on the back here for added tightness when you're installing the bracket to secure the sensors. Now take your bracket and 2 screws and secure the sensors to the mounting points. Now, one thing I wanted to mention is that this bolts, or the screws that it came with, we decided to use our own because they're threaded for a screwdriver and not an Allen key, and these are much easier to install. So I recommend, if you have one similar, using a screwdriver ones instead of the ones that were provided, and they were able to screw in really easy. All the sensors are installed now, plus the license plate light has been connected. And what we did was we added some heavy duty tape to secure the sensor line at different points, as well as adding a couple zip ties to secure them, another zip tie right here. And so now we are ready to mount the bumper back onto the Bronco. We are ready for install. So the Hooke Road bumper has 4 points of contact for secure. We're going to use the same bolts that came in the Bronco that we undid the tow hook here on this driver's side, and then we're going to use the same 2 on the passenger side there. So you got your 2 points of contact right here that we're going to mount it and secure it with our 18mm socket that we're going to tighten it up with. On the passenger side that has that LED light, I connected a nice long cord that I'm going to feed up into the passenger side here, and then eventually connect it to one of our auxiliary switches. All right, now that we got it in position, we're gonna just hand tighten the bolts for now. After we hand tighten the bolts, we're going to connect back the wires for the sensors and the license plate light. Then finish tighten up the bumper with a power tool. Here are most of the items that we use when installing our new bumper and removing our old bumper. Definitely a socket set with up to 19 millimeters all the way down to you'll be using a 13 and a 15, as well as you got a 15 millimeter socket, 18 millimeter socket. You can also use a 13 one, which would be nice. A power tool, which would help you out. Hex key, extra wiring for the rear lights, or any additional wiring you need for the license plate light, some zip ties, some heavy duty tape to secure the sensors down more, a nice Sharpie for labeling. This is an electrical kit, so you can strip the wires and connect them. Push pin tool is very useful, and just some miscellaneous screws like we mentioned earlier about using our own screws when we were securing the sensor brackets. Install is complete on our Hooke Road rear bumper. We love the way it looks and the way it turned out. Now during the installation, we didn't use all of the hardware. We used some of the stuff that was already built onto the Bronco. So if you have a few extra pieces like we did, don't worry about that. Special thanks to our buddy Cecil for helping us install this bumper on our Bronco. Let us know if you have any questions and what you think about the new addition to our Bronco. So thanks for stopping by our channel. We'll see you next time.